Precise handwork, finely woven. But who can actually still crochet or do macrame today? Let's get to know how Henrietta Kumhene challenged herself to revive this traditional technique and others in her designs.
My designs are appealing to the modern market, even though the techniques are generations ago. So when you see somebody like me being interested in such a tedious process, you also get inspired to say that, oh, she's doing it, then I can also do it.
Studies have shown that crocheting or doing macrame can have a therapeutic effect, reduces stress, improve concentration, and even alleviate symptoms of anxiety and depression. But why did Henrietta decide to revive this old-fashioned form of cloth making, and how did it all start?
I love the idea of making things with your hands. Growing up with my grandmothers, I experienced them make things for themselves, and the whole process of making beads, chokers, and it wasn't something that they even learned. They just used it as a hobby. But growing up to also come and inherit some of these things is very exciting to me. I think that macrame, crochet, and other, I'll say, traditional weaving techniques helps in depression or stress. The whole bit of turning your hands and threads and cords is a very interesting process that requires your attention and like a full mind to the process. And the whole bit of you are working from one line and then it turns into a second line, then it turns into something that you have in mind that is turned into like a cloth. I think that's, for me, the way that it relieves stress, anxiety, and depression.
Henrietta, who studied integrated raw arts and industry with a focus on fibers and fabrics, is holding her first private viewing with Kayadua experience to showcase new designs. How will that help her achieve her goal of reviving this tradition?
The Kayadua brand has grown because of how it has modernized already existing traditional techniques. When you touch her fabrics, you realize that everything is handmade. Now she's one that is speaking the language of African women, one that is speaking the language of corporate and casual women. Globally, I believe everybody should be on Kayadua.
So the main reason for hosting the Kayadua experience is to have an interaction moment. I love community. I think because I work with artisans and we talk a lot, I've come to really enjoy that company of interaction. Kayadua has mostly been an online fashion brand, and I kind of wanted people to come and have a first-hand experience and feel of the designs and the materials. And the colors are very vibrant. I also use macrame. You don't use pins, you just use your hands to weave. You can use it to make lampshades, you can make sandals out of it, you can make clothing out of it, there's so many ways that you can use macrame for. And there's crocheting. We use it for clothing. In Kayadua, this is how we go about making our products.
Henrietta's pieces are very sustainable due to their timeless design. Even in 2 decades, her items will be unique and still fashionable. What is her motivation to preserve the heritage of the Ghanaian elders?
I think these traditional techniques are worth being revived because everything that is part of our culture and tradition needs to be sustained. And for me, in the new generation and as a fashion designer, I think that it's important to always introduce it. Like we should never leave something behind, especially if it's important. The thing is still around, there's a market for it, people are still using it. And I think that it's very important that we start having a new eyes for it and seeing it in a different light. If you don't have a passion and an interest, like a genuine interest for it, you'll probably give up. Like some of it take days, hours, intertwining cords and yarns. It's very difficult. It can take you over a year for somebody to now be able to remember it on their own and say, this is the way that we need to go. When you look at our pieces, they still have the same quality and finishing. So in terms of pricing, I'm always challenged that why it's coming from Africa. It should be cheap. And I think that we've passed that stage. My goal for using these traditional techniques is to inspire other creatives, other designers, and in that sense, open us to a new market. then the techniques are also sustained in that aspect, and it's traveled on and on and on. But when it's stuck here in the same way that it's still used, then we don't really sustain it.
Henrietta is determined to give crochet and macrame a future on the world's catwalk so the traditional handwork remains alive.